The FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. Glenn Clark, Griffin Bass. In just a minute, our buddy Andrew Stetka joins us for Stets and Figures. Bounced back somewhat last time from his miserable performance, the previous appearance. Later on, we will catch up with our buddy Brad Kronthal from Alloy Sports, talk a little baseball and football with him as we're in the final week of the regular season for baseball. And clearly we'll be talking more about baseball during the postseason as well. But we start things off with our friend Andrew Stetka, who did not go 0-4. And so we call that progress. Andrew Stetka, what's going on, pal?
Good morning, Glenn. How you doing?
Always makes me nervous whenever something like that. It's not him. It's not him. It's us. This is the whole it's not you, it's me situation. It's not him. It's us. Andrew, can you hear me now?
I could hear you before.
Oh, well, now I can hear you too. And that's, well, I'd say it's better, but I never really know. What's going on, bud? How are you?
I'm doing okay, man. I'm battling through a little bit of a cold. I don't know what you guys got in the water out there, but I had a little visit up to Baltimore last week, and you came back with a bug.
You came home. It's interesting you came back with a bug, because next time you come back, it might be for a worm. So how about that?
Yeah, that's interesting. That's well done.
I see you made it to a baseball match. Thanks for ruining everything. Thanks for ruining everything for us. All came to a screeching halt the moment that you showed up. Real weird.
I was 3-2 attending Orioles games this year. I went 3 in St. Louis and 2 in Baltimore, and went 3-2 in those. So I'll have you know I had a winning record.
Yeah, that's better. That's better than you are in Stets and Figures. So we got that.
Do you want to know what my record was at Orioles?
What was
games?
your record?
I'm 7-0.
Why didn't you go to more games, Griffin?
Sorry.
Pretty selfish of you.
I know. I guess so.
Sounds like it's on Griffin to me.
Yeah, it is on Griffin. I saw you made it out to see Mr. John as well. You saw Elton John on Saturday
Yes,
night.
I did. Yes, I did. Went down to it was my first time in what is a horrendous ballpark.
God, it is so bad. Like there is just nothing redeemable about that place. Like I keep thinking to myself, like what if you really care desperately about the Nationals? Like how could you sell? Hey, but if you sit here, it's pleasant. Like there's just that ballpark sucks. It has no personality. It has no life.
It was very bad. It's a lot of concrete walls,
Yep.
and the concourses are small, and there's like 2 entrances and exits. It was just very, very bad.
It is
But the concert was lovely.
I'm sure the concert was wonderful.
Great to see. Yeah, it was great to see a living legend, and it was awesome.
Yeah, I'm sure that part was great. But yeah, the only time I have ever enjoyed a trip down to DC is they do a Christmas lights thing. They build a maze on the infield. And use the entire field for and we take the kids down there every year because it's amazing. But that's literally it's because we don't have to deal with the rest of the ballpark. It is a miserable, miserable place. All right, last time out, Stetka struggled. He decided to pick outright against Maryland. That was a bit of a mistake. Decided to ride with the Steelers. I thought he was onto something there. I was in agreement, but apparently, as always, whenever we look at something and say, that line stinks, what is that? We're always wrong. We are always, always, always wrong. They always know something. But he did nail Chiefs-Chargers first half under, and he did get the Packers covering a big number against the Bears. So he did go 2-2, which is progress after a tough 0-4 week. Stets and Figures this week. Andrew, where are we beginning?
Well, we're going to go back to soccer parlays to start because the Premier League returns off an international break this weekend, and there are 2 enormous matches this weekend, as I'm sure you know, Glenn.
I know.
You know what the 2 big matches are.
Oh, my God. Do I ever? I'm sure Wolverhampton Wanderers are involved.
That's not the one I was talking about.
Oh.
There was a North London derby on Saturday morning and then a Manchester derby on Sunday. We're gonna pick from both of those games.
Okay.
Arsenal play Tottenham on Saturday morning. We're gonna take Arsenal to win or draw, so at least to get a point at home. It's been 11 years since Spurs have won against their North London rivals away from home, and I expect that trend to continue. Now, these 2 teams are very evenly matched, and the winner, at least for a brief moment, is going to go to the top of the league. But I think Arsenal does have enough to at least get the win or a draw at home. And then the other match is that Manchester City-Manchester United game. I really like City to win this game. Manchester United still have a ton of questions at the back. and they're just not scoring enough to keep up with City. And I like Erling Haaland, the current leader in the Premier League with 11 goals, to score in that match. So you tie all of those things together, Arsenal to win or draw. Sorry, go ahead.
All right, so I was trying to go ahead, because you're doing what I was about to do. I was trying to recap everything that you just put into this parlay.
I'm going to recap. It's 3 legs. It's a 3-legged parlay. It's Arsenal to win or draw, Manchester City to win, and then Erling Haaland to score. And you tie all that together, you get plus odds at plus 140.
Phew. All right. Needs a lot to happen there, but yeah, clearly they think it's going to happen because it's only plus 140 for a 3-leg parlay, so they are expecting it to be the case. All right, I would offer some analysis here, but Lord knows I don't have any. I have nothing to add. Hey, you know what soccer bet I wouldn't make? The United States doing anything at all. The hell happened to us?
No, stay far away from them.
Jesus
when it comes to World Cup.
Christ,
that is a dangerous road to go down.
Thank God this World Cup is happening during football season and nobody will care in this country, because jeez, maybe it would have been better off not qualifying again. Holy hell! All right, next, Stets and Figures.
We're gonna go to college on Saturday. Kentucky travels to Ole Miss, and they're getting almost a touchdown in this game. They're getting plus 6.5 now. The Wildcats have a really good record against ranked teams against the spreads in the last almost decade. It's since 2015. Wildcats are 15-5-2 against the spread in those games, and 5 of their last 20 road games have been unders, which would favor a team getting almost a touchdown. They're getting 6.5 in this game. They're also going to get Chris Rodriguez back from suspension this week. Their talented running back. I just think this SEC East is very tight, and I like Kentucky getting the 6.5 away to Ole Miss. I just think that is an almost a touchdown in that kind of game. I think it's too many points. So give me the Wildcats.
Yeah, I didn't realize they were plus 6.5. I love that pick. Man, I had no idea. That's crazy. Sure.
Ole Miss is also 0-3 against the spread all time against AP top 10 teams, which Kentucky currently is.
Wait a second. Say that one more time.
Ole Miss is 0-3 against the spread against AP top 10 teams.
I don't believe that Ole Miss has only ever played 3 games against top 10 teams. That number, there's something missing from that number.
Well, that was the number that I had.
There's just no way it is humanly possible that an SEC team has only ever played 3 games against AP top 10 teams. Come on, man. What is missing? Like, I want to know what that number is. Like, is it their last? That they lost their last 3 games, or they're 0-3 against the spread their last 3 or something? But they play in the same.
I'm sorry. Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's their last 3.
Okay, that makes way more sense. I'm like, what? There has to be. They play in the same division as Alabama. Like, come on. There's got to be something missing there. All right, that makes more sense then. Yeah, I like that pick. And it's weird because I'm inclined to dislike any pick you make, but
yeah, of course you are.
I do like that one. All right, let's continue. Andrew Stetka is with us here on Weekend at Bookies for Stets and Figures. Where we headed next?
Let's go back over to London, but not for soccer, for football, because there was a London NFL game this week.
There is indeed.
Favorites in the London games, if you take out the Jaguars, who seem to always play in London, and I know this is fudging the numbers a little bit, but the Jaguars are involved in so many of these London games that when you remove them from the equation, favorites in London are 18-3-1 straight up, and they're 15-7 against the spread. In early kickoffs, that number is even better, which is what this is, the early kickoff game. You remember they used to play those later games that were kind of tied in with the afternoon games here in the States. But for this window too, it's just the Vikings are favored by this game by less than a field goal, and it's another line I don't quite get. I feel like they're a much better team than New Orleans is. They're only laying 2.5. So I like the Vikings minus the 2.5 in this game. New Orleans is averaging about 3 turnovers a game, which is not good when you want to turn the ball over that often. And I also have an interesting Jameis Winston stat for you here. Jameis Winston, when the spread is 3 or less, is only 13-23-3 against the spread all time.
That's interesting.
So Jameis Winston not good in the close games you
could have stopped at
covering.
Jameis Winston not good. I would have accepted that.
I could have.
You could have just stopped there.
And by the way, he very well may have broken ribs or something and is still planning on playing in this game. So I just don't like New Orleans to even cover 2.5. Give me the Vikings.
I completely hear you. I really do. I am just in a weird place where like I almost refuse to bet London games because I just never know who's more impacted by the travel, who, whatever else is going on. There's so many underlying things about like playing at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time that it's very difficult for me to have any confidence that it'll be a representation of what we would expect in a normal game. So I everything you're saying, got it. But I still personally, I will just try to avoid betting London games kind of for the rest of my life.
I get that, but I just feel like when there's a small advantage to be won here, I feel like if the Vikings were laying 4 or 5 in this game, I'd be a little more hesitant.
Yeah.
The fact that it's under a field goal, I'm all on board.
I get it. I completely get it. And I do think the Vikings are definitely better. I mean, I agree with that, but I just don't like London.
Yeah.
All right. And then finally,
we're going to stick with the NFL, and we're going to put together a teaser here for you. It's weird. When I looked at the NFL slate this week, there's a lot of games which I felt like the spreads were about right. And there's weirdly a lot of games that I think are going to be very competitive. There's not a lot of very large lines. The only one that's really large is that Patriots-Packers line, which is actually, I think as of now, back down under double digits. I think it's down to 9.5. So I put together a teaser here, and it involves the Ravens as well. We're gonna do a 3-team 7-point teaser, which is going to be plus 120 odds. So we're going to move the Ravens from 3 points to 10 points at home against the Bills. I mean, I'm going to be fine with the Ravens not losing by double digits at home. They are number one. They're 5-0 all against the spread as a home underdog in the last 5 years. Lamar is very good as an underdog. He's 9-1 in that sense, covering the spread as a dog. So I like the Ravens in that sense. The other team we're going to take from this is the Cardinals. We're going to move them from 1.5 to 8.5 away to the Panthers. Cliff Kingsbury is weirdly a much better coach on the road than he is at home. And that offense has all kinds of opportunities, even if they fall down early, which they tend to do, to get a backdoor cover, which is like kind of what we tend to see out of the Cardinals a lot. We see them start slow and come back. And I think the Cardinals can win that game outright as well. I think they're probably overall the more talented team than the Panthers. And then the last one is where this gets tricky, because when I looked at this last night, I thought, okay, the Bucks are a 1.5-point underdog at home to the Chiefs. Let's move them. But then I looked this morning, and that line has actually moved so much that you're now getting the Chiefs as an underdog in that game. They are now 1-point underdogs to the Buccaneers. And I'm going to just flip that and take the Chiefs and move that to 8 on the side of the Chiefs, and give me the Chiefs plus the 8 points in that teaser as well, because it's Patrick Mahomes, and he's Patrick Mahomes in that offense. I get that the Bucs have a very good defense, but they're also not going to score a lot of points with all these guys they still have out, and Tom Brady looking like he's an older version of Tom Brady as of right now. So I'm going to flip that and move the Chiefs to 8 points and say they can cover 8 points even against a good Bucs defense. So it's a 3-team teaser. You're getting Ravens plus 10 at home against the Bills. You're getting the Chiefs plus 8 away to the Bucs, and you're getting the Cardinals plus 8.5 away to the Panthers for plus 120.
I don't love teasers. I just don't, but I can't tell you why this one's not going to come through. Like, all of that does make complete and total sense. I feel like you're asking for it. I almost feel like you're tempting the fate of God or something like that whenever you do this. You're like, man, the Cardinals 8.5, that's going to come through. And then, the Cardinals just lay the egg of all eggs the way they used to on, whenever you would expect anything from them. I don't know, man. I'm with you.
I like a 2-team teaser a lot better. I like a 2-team teaser that a lot more than I like a 3-teamer, but you can get plus odds in this one, and there were just these three numbers.
I hear you.
The way that you can manipulate them really jumped out at me this week, especially with, like I said, when you go down the board, there are so many games this week where it's 1.5, 2.5, 3, and the numbers were just kind of there for me to where, there's one team that I liked better in the matchup anyway, and then when you can manipulate that number, to think that it's going to be a close game anyway and get the points. It was hard to resist.
No, I get it. I completely understand, and that plays out to plus 120 to play that 3-leg teaser right now. All right, very good. We will get them up at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter. At A Stetka is how you follow him. Appreciate it, pal. We'll talk to you again in a couple weeks, all right?
All right, cheers, Glenn. Thanks.
It's Andrew Stetka joining us for Stets and Figures this week. I cannot believe that number moved. I mean, that number moved, it was minus 1.5.
Yes. Last night when
Now it's the Chiefs plus 1.
I wonder why.
It scares the crap out of you. It terrifies. This goes back to what I said about Maryland, right? Like when you see line movement like that, you don't like it. You don't like it because there is zero world in which the Chiefs should be getting points. None. Makes no effing sense. But they're not stupid. We are. We're stupid. FanDuel is not stupid. I promise you that. They know exactly what they're doing. We are a couple of dummies. So there's something going. Was there trying to see if there's
some sort of update?
Is there a story out there
Not
about
that I've seen.
the Chiefs? I mean, is there something that happened? Like, is Mahomes?
Yeah, is Mahomes not playing?
Man, I am really, really confused.
Chiefs.
Maybe it's related to this story. The mayor is pushing strongly to keep the game in Tampa. There's Rick Stroud, the Tampa Sports Authority, informed the NFL Thursday that they have all of the resources in terms of emergency services, law enforcement, etc., to host Sunday night's game between the Bucs and Chiefs at Raymond James Stadium. It's up to the league now to make the final decision. And Mayor Jane Castor of Tampa Bay, on another note, we're doing our best to keep the Buccaneers game here Sunday. I have assured the NFL that the only disturbance here Sunday is when the Bucs kick ass. I mean, I didn't know enough. If the line was where it was only because of the assumption that the game wasn't going to be played in Tampa, and this is just a course correction to now we're assuming the game is being played in Tampa, so we're adjusting the line, accordingly for that. Okay, I just still don't see what we've seen from the Buccaneers that would make them be favored anywhere against the Chiefs right now. I don't get that, but that might be all it is. It might very well be that just in the last couple of hours, the confirmation has come in enough for FanDuel and the books to believe the game's going to be played in Tampa. Whatever the path of the storm is, it's not. Tampa's not going to be the problem. So I don't know, but it definitely concerns me as someone who has.
It was Stekka's the only one on the Bucs.
Well, I mean, he likes the fact that he got it where he got it, I guess. Yeah. There is some scenario where they could lose by a point, and now he's a winner, right? Like, they lose 27-26. He's like, yeah, got it exactly right. I don't know, man. Weird bit. All right, when we come back in, our buddy Brad Kronthal from Alloy Sports will check in with us. We'll talk about today's baseball slate, as well as everything going on Week 4 in the NFL. That's next. Weekend at Bookies is brought to you by the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland.
The Baltimore County Police Department is hiring. Entry-level officers start at close to $59,000 a year with a $10,000 bonus. Some restrictions apply. Plus a great retirement plan, medical, dental, and vision insurance, advancement to specialized units, tuition reimbursement, 15 sick days earned per calendar year, and even further incentives for military members and veterans. If you have a passion for service and want a career for life, visit joinbaltimorecountypd.com or call 410-887-5542. You must be a United States citizen, possess a valid driver's license, and have a high school diploma or GED equivalent. The Baltimore County Police Department is an equal opportunity employer.
Come experience Maryland's #1 sportsbook this NFL season at the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel, the ultimate place for any sports enthusiast. Take advantage of our 24/7 kiosks, massive video screens, and watch all the action from the best seat in the house. With more money paid out than anyone around, make every moment more at the new FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel in Hanover, Maryland. Please play responsibly. Gambling problem? Please call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit mdgamblinghelp.org.
That first sip, that first bite, Start your day off right with a delicious breakfast at Royal Farms. Choose from a fantastic selection of fresh Royal Farms breakfast sandwiches and top it off with a rich hot cup of the freshest coffee in the world. At Royal Farms, breakfast is available day and night. It's the freshest breakfast in the world. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
Glory Days Grill's Oktoberfest menu is now running. It's one of their most popular seasonal menus all year. It features the chicken schnitzel, the Oktoberfest brewer's platter, the brewer's sausage sandwich, the Bavarian burger with a pretzel bun, the cheddar ale soup, the slam dunk pretzels, and the apple cobbler. All of these meals pair well with Oktoberfest beers and Angry Orchard on draft. Dine in or order online at glorydaysgrill.com and pick up your favorites to take home. Glory Days Grill, great food, good sports.
The Maryland Lottery presents Ravens' Greatest Plays. It was called the Mile High Miracle, a 70-yard touchdown pass against Denver with 30 seconds left to send the game into overtime. The Ravens eventually won, propelling them to the championship. Another great Ravens play belongs to Diane from Annapolis. Diane played Ravens Scratch-Offs and won season tickets for 20 years. You could be next. Play Ravens Scratch-Offs with instant prizes up to $100,000. And please play responsibly.
Have you been to Guilford Hall Brewery? Located in Baltimore's Station North neighborhood, Guilford Hall Brewery breaks the craft brew mold with their great handcrafted microbrews and amazing Bavarian-style food selections. Join Guilford Hall 7 days a week for Orioles, Ravens, and all of your favorite college games. Make plans now to watch the big games, play trivia, or bring your dog for Yappy Hour. They even have free valet service on Friday and Saturday nights. Go to guilfordhall.com for a complete schedule of events, beer listings, and food and drink specials. We'll see you at Guilford Hall Brewery.
Tune in to Simply the Bets every Tuesday and Weekend at Bookies every other Thursday at 11:40 a.m. And if you really have nothing better to do, keep listening to this show too.
You right now go to the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland, and you make a Super Bowl futures bet. It's got to be a plus 300 odds or more, but obviously all of the Super Bowl futures bets right now that are available are plus 300 odds or more. But you make that bet, you're a Live Rewards member, and then you go to FanDuel.com/SBNAZ. It's got to be a $25 bet. You register that bet, you could win a pair of tickets to the Super Bowl. Now, the Baltimore Ravens currently are still behind teams like the Buccaneers and the Packers as far as their Super Bowl odds are concerned. The Ravens are still 14-1 to win Super Bowl 57. So I can do simple math if I write it out. That smells to me like you could win $350 on a $25 bet. And you might have the tickets taken care of for you to be there in Glendale, Arizona for you to watch the Ravens try to win the Super Bowl. Seems like that would be pretty good with a little bit of extra spending cash that you could use. $25 bet on a Super Bowl futures bet right now. If you're a Live Rewards member, make it in the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. Then register it at FanDuel.com/SBNAZ, and you could win. I don't know if our buddy Brad Kronthal from Alloy Sports is thinking about his Super Bowl futures bet, normally zeroed in on game day and the daily, weekly baseball, football slates. Let's bring him in right now. BK, what's going on, buddy? How are you?
Doing great, Glenn. Ready for a great week 4 in the NFL, getting close to those baseball playoffs, too. It's a fun time to be in the sports world.
Yes, it would be more fun if the Orioles were going to be participating in those baseball playoffs, but it's what it is. Nothing we can do about that at this point. Hey, Brad, let's start with the baseball slate. What's jumping out at you right now as you look at today's games?
Yeah, so not a ton of sexiness in today's games, but I actually saw a couple futures bets that are really interesting.
Ooh, okay.
And the first one is looking at the NL East division. If you go on FanDuel, it's the only division still live. Obviously all the other ones have been wrapped up by now, but the Braves are at plus 310. The Mets are at minus 380. They're about to face off in a series starting tomorrow, and it's aces wild. It's DeGrom, Fried, Scherzer's going. I mean, this is for the division, but to get the Braves at home, basically saying if they win that division, can they finish their last series as well? I kind of like the Braves odds here. Just, you only got 6 games left. It's not like you're betting on half a season here. Can the Braves essentially topple the Mets in this one series and then handle business in their final series? That's a really interesting play.
What's the story on the season series between the Braves and Mets this year? Like, where are they at going into this weekend?
Yeah, I would have to pull that up.
Hang on a second. I would like to, because that
testing me on the research here.
Well, but I mean, it is relevant to me because obviously there's no game 163 anymore. They just go to the tiebreaker in order to determine who would be the winner of the division at this point.
Okay, so the Mets lead the series 9-7.
So the Braves would have to sweep in order to take that back. Of course, if they sweep, they're probably not going to need the tiebreaker at that point. They would move ahead by a full 2 games. That's very interesting.
Absolutely.
That's very interesting.
And
what
I like about the Braves,
too,
is they're 52-26 at home. They're just a different team. I mean, they're great on the road, too. They're 45-33. But playing a team at home, the Braves can close. They have proved that over the last 2+ seasons. So it's just to have that kind of money line.
Yeah, I get
there,
it. I get it.
310, interesting.
Well, I was trying to figure out why the number would be that with only a 1-game separation, but this makes sense. Essentially, they're saying anything but a Braves sweep, and they believe the Mets will win the division because the Mets only have to finish in it. If they can just win one of the games this weekend, then the Mets only. You said 9-7, correct? That's what you said, Griffin. 9-7. So even if the Braves, if the Mets win one game, then they would go 10-9. Against the Braves this season. So what they're saying is the only scenario where we think we're screwed. Now, it's not this simple because both of them have to, as you point out, Brad, they both still have to play 3 more games after that. So there is still a lot more that could happen. But in doing the math, FanDuel is saying because a tie favors, we think will end up favoring the Mets, we're giving them those odds. So I was just confused by the odds. I was like, wow, I don't think they should be that far apart, given that there's only a 1-game difference, but the tiebreaker is still quite relevant there. Yeah, I mean, the juice, I hear you. The juice with the Braves being at home is probably on the Braves. You're probably right about that, but this is a selfish thing. You know how much I love Buck, and so I refuse to do it. I refuse to bet against Buck because, that's our guy. That's our guy. I won't do it. Anything else baseball-wise that jumps out at you?
Yeah, the only other thing, Tampa Bay, Cleveland today, Jeffrey Springs, his pitching total for strikeouts is at 4.5. So I like the over here for Springs. He's had 5+ Ks in 3 straight starts and 4 of his last 5. I just think, as the season winds down, Cleveland's already clinched. Let's get some strikeouts for Springs and cash out going home on a Thursday night in the baseball court.
All right, I like it. Brad Kronthal is with us from Alloy Sports. Brad, you guys are now, you've dipped your toes into football waters. Remind everybody how Alloy can help them as they make their football bets this season.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are live on the App Store, Alloy Sports. We let you build your own betting strategies really quickly, really within 30 seconds with our platform that's live now. It's called our Quick Start Wizard, and we backtest your strategies and tell you how it's performed in the past and the upcoming games that fit it to bet on each week, help you become profitable sports bettors.
You guys have anything? You've been looking at anything this week that maybe has caught your eye, or is there one strategy perhaps that you have found to be pretty beneficial so far this NFL season?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked, Glenn, because I'm actually going to debut one on your show here. I had the article written, but I wanted to, debut it here. So basically every week we're pushing out what we call our Alloy forecasts, and those are successful strategies that we're essentially giving sports fans and sports bettors that, they can use for that week if they agree with it. So for the past 3 weeks, we've pushed out new ones, and this week is no different. This strategy is really awesome. So built it on the Quick Start Wizard really quickly, and it yielded an 80% win percentage since the start of last season, 41-game sample size. So, 80% is kind of unheard of, but back tested it a little further, which you're able to do as well. Since 2018, this strategy is hitting at 64%, and that's got 150-game sample size.
Wow.
So yes, that kind of shows the power of what we're able to do, but really quickly. And if you're a sports fan, you'll be able to pick this up in seconds. So, we'd kind of be crazy to tell you what went into the strategy, but that's what we're about. So I'll tell you exactly what went into it. basically drives ending in touchdowns and power rushing teams when they're on the road. And we're looking specifically at teams that are close underdogs. And we're counting that as teams in the spread range of, plus 0.5 to plus 5.
So anybody that stands out when it comes to that this week? Anybody that you look at and say, hey, this fits the strategy pretty well?
Quite a few, actually. So tonight there's a play, Miami plus 3.5 at Cincinnati, which is really interesting because the public is all over the Bengals tonight.
Yeah.
So Miami has covered, and a few of our strategies have liked Miami all year, especially, unfortunately, the game against the Ravens where they were down by 21, and, the strategy liked Miami. Obviously, you don't win them all. I'm not saying you're going to hit it 80% every week, but, Miami's been pretty consistent this year in covering. So it likes Miami tonight on the road in Cincinnati to cover at 3.5.
Okay. All right. I hate that because I bet Cincinnati. So I hate the fact that you're giving me this information, but it is relevant, and hitting it 80% going back to last year, that is, oh, boy, now I'm terrified. So thanks a lot, Brad. Really appreciate you doing this to me. Really appreciate you coming in here with all this information and data and knowing things when I'm all out here like, I don't know, it's Thursday night, bet the home team. Damn it. The curse of having more information. Anything else that you think folks should know about Alloy or before, they start doing their Week 4 NFL betting?
Yeah, absolutely. Sign up for the app. All you got to do is basically give your email, and you have access to our email newsletter where we're giving out different strategies, how they're performing, the games to bet for that upcoming week, and then you can build your own. I mean, that's the power of the tool. You get to build your own betting strategies that, we make it really easy for you. So have the tools and the data at your disposal. We help you out. We're helping sports bettors, win more bets this season.
That's awesome. Brad Kronthal, remind everybody where they can find you on social media.
Yeah, you can find me at B_Kronthal or our Alloy account at Alloy Sports.
Dude, appreciate you. We will talk again in 2 weeks. Thank you so much as always, my friends.
Awesome, Glenn. Good luck on your bet.
That's Brad Kronthal from Alloy Sports checking in with us here on Weekend at Bookies. Well, it's that time. We hit one of these about a month ago, and we were feeling really good. We call it Griffin's Gratuitous Grouping. It's where we allow young Griffin to try to put together a parlay to make you guys some money. And again, he hit one. He got one. Just one. That's it. Only one.
I've only had, I think, because since we do this show every other week, I think I've only had 1, 2, 3, 4. So this will be my 6th time doing one.
Right.
Which
I'd have to think about whether or not the one.
I mean, these are all plus odds.
Is hitting one enough to have made it profitable is the question. I don't remember. Like, we'd have to think
and
about.
I come close every time, which is the worst
but again,
part.
coming close doesn't help. This was like when you told. For those that follow, you need to be following Live Casino and Hotel Maryland on social because we're also giving you advice over there. And a week ago, Griffin was like, "Hey man, hammer Kansas and then the over." And he got half of it right. The problem is he told you to parlay it. He didn't tell you to play it in 2 pieces. So if you just played the parlay, you were a loser. So we got to do better than that. As you know, last week when I made my picks on the Live Casino and Hotel Maryland's social page, I went 2 for 2. Bengals and Ravens first quarter. You'll have to wait a little bit later on today to find out what our bets are for this week over there. But Griffin right here will attempt to put together his gratuitous grouping.
All right, so we're going to start tomorrow afternoon, Bundesliga in Germany.
Well, I'm glad you brought this up because this is what I know the most.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Is it really?
You think I don't know the Bundesliga? You think I'm not Mr. Bundesliga over here?
All right, good. Well, then I'll get your opinion on this one.
Please.
Bayern Munich and Bayer Leverkusen.
Yeah.
I'm taking the over 3.5 goals in this one.
Genius.
These are 2 perennial Bundesliga powerhouses, and I think this international break is coming at the perfect time for both these teams because they were both kind of they weren't playing too well to start the season. But whenever these 2 teams do face off, there's typically fireworks. There's been at least 4 goals scored in 8 of their last 12 head-to-heads dating back to the 2017 season. So I really like the 3.5 over 3.5 goals to get this weekend started.
It's like
Both teams.
It's like you're reading my mind. That's exactly what I was going to say about
Perfect.
Bayern Munich and
Yes.
Leverkusen. That's exactly what I was going to say. Is they score all the goals? Like they could be 12 in this game, which would be more than 3.5. So we'd be good at that point.
All right, next up, we're staying to Friday night in the Bronx. I'm taking Aaron Judge to hit number 62. I want him to hit his home run. And now they don't have the odds up for that yet, but
Okay,
they
that
should.
That doesn't work. You can't do that for gratuity. You have to actually be able to put together the gratuitous group.
Well, you will be later tonight, or like.
But you can't. Like again,
If it's been plus 250 the last couple nights. So if it's around that again, my parlay is gonna you'll see where I was going.
It's important that when we do for the content of the show, that it actually be a bet that we can build and make here, so we can tell everybody what.
Well, I was just putting a placeholder of a random plus 250 in there.
I understand that, but like it's for content purposes. We can't do that.
Okay.
All right. I love you. I think you're a very special boy. All right. But and I get that you're going to the game and you're all hopped up about going to the game. But we can't do that. All right, so we got to do better. Okay. Next,
would you like me to give away the final leg?
Sure.
All right, we're going to the UFC. Feel really good about it. Mackenzie Dern takes on Yan Xiaonan, and it should be a good fight. But Mackenzie Dern, she's just a jiu-jitsu just genius. She's unbelievable on the mat. So I like her at even money to get the submission against Yan on Saturday night in the main event. So yeah, just take method of victory by submission, -110. And so if you were going to do the parlay, whenever the Aaron Judge home run odds get put out there.
And it is at plus 250.
It is up?
If it is.
Oh, if it is. Yeah, it should be around plus 250. The parlay should pay out around plus 1,000.
All right. We just got to, again, for the sake of the show, you can't do it. It's got to be a parlay we can build. We got to be able to do that right here.
My apologies.
All right. It brings shame upon your family.
I guess.
Hey, what's the deal with they're not letting any fans or media into the UFC fight on Saturday night?
Really?
Apparently, Mark Zuckerberg has rented out.
Oh, really? Because he's a big Mackenzie Dern fan.
Okay.
Which I guess
it seems a little over the top that they're kicking out the media. He has apparently rented out the UFC Apex, I believe it is.
Yeah, that is where they the little basement of the UFC headquarters or whatever.
And so it's only Mark Zuckerberg and friends that are allowed to be at this fight on Saturday, which is it's a very weird bit.
Yeah.
It's nobody cares.
Good for him, I guess.
I don't know.
Apparently,
I'm never going to say good for Mark Zuckerberg. That day will never occur. That's not going to be
stinks. A lot of people want to see Mackenzie Dern.
Weird.
I love Mackenzie Dern.
Weird bit.
She's she will get the submission. I'm excited. Excited about that.
All right.
So those are my 3 picks.
We will see how it plays out.
Yeah.
We will deal with that on Monday. All right. There you go. Thanks to Andrew Stetka. Thanks to Brad Kronthal. We will be back on Tuesday for the next Simply the Bets. Get down to the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino in Hotel Maryland to get all your football bets in this weekend. If you want to reserve your spot, they always have huge crowds for Thursday nights, Saturdays, Sundays, and Monday nights. But you can make sure you've got your table for you and your group, maybe reclining chairs, whatever it is that you're looking for. Email them events@sportssocialmd.com and arrange that ahead of time. May the odds be ever in your favor.